time. And then as soon as her husband gets elected first term, it's, my name is Hillary Rodham Clinton. What a phony you-know-what. But anyway, Hillary Clinton on Thursday said the outcry over Planned Parenthood selling fetal organs was an attack on women's right to choose. Now, this breaks the 2 weeks of silence since hidden camera videos exposed the group's executives trading in unborn body parts. She says, I think it's unfortunate that Planned Parenthood has been the object of such a concerted attack for so many years, and it's really an attack against a woman's right to choose. Now, somebody want to tell me how that makes any sense and how that's just not evil speaking? It's an attack? Look, this is something that these two female doctors within the organization in the hierarchy of the Planned Parenthood organization are saying that they're doing. How is it an attack when they're admitting that they're doing this? It's an attack on a woman's right to choose. Look, I've been over this. A woman doesn't have a right to choose to murder anybody. So why do they have the right to choose to murder an unborn baby? Especially if that unborn baby is then going to be used to harvest. Now, I don't know how many times I said it that I have tried to compromise with liberals on this, even though I believe that that life begins at conception. I am willing to try to compromise on certain things, on when life might begin, but liberals don't even want to go there. In fact, people like Hillary Clinton want to have late-term abortions. Now, we know that babies are very viable in the late second and third trimester. So are we not really murdering kids? I think we have a call here. Somebody want to chime in on this one?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Excuse me. I was kind of like sitting idly by just listening, and this subject happened to come in right around the time that I actually needed it to, because you said that there are things that, there are situations where you would allow it. Could you explain what those situations are?
No, I didn't say there were situations I'd allow it. I said I was willing to compromise.
Okay, what would you be willing to compromise on?
Well, let me ask you this. When does medical science say that you're dead and there's no way for you to come back?
After they've done the CPR, that's my guess. And you haven't come back, and I guess you're dead at that point.
No. When they hook you up to a machine and they read your brainwaves, they say, and you can look it up, if there is no brainwave activity, there's no possible way for you to be alive, so you can't come back. So
okay, that makes sense. That's not something I was thinking about. It's something that you kind of like threw out there. So I'm not a medical professional. You actually sound like one.
No, that's what medical science currently says is the end of life. When there's no brain activity, no beta, no theta, no alpha brainwaves. You're dead. Gone forever. That's it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if medical science says, and the consensus is, since the left likes to think in consensus, is medical science has a consensus right now from what we know that you're dead when there's no brain activity. Do you accept the consensus of modern medical science that you're gone when there's no brain activity?
Yes.
All right. Now, let's take it the opposite track. If modern medical science says that your brain activity is the activity of life, would you not then say if there's brain activity in a baby, that baby's now alive?
If there's brain activity in a baby, of course the baby is alive.
Okay, so do you know that brain activity begins in the womb towards the end of the first, beginning of the second trimester? So, would you then agree?
I know that because I'm a mother, so yes.
So then would you then agree that once brain activity starts, you're alive, and if you're alive, you're a human being?
Yes, I believe that.
So
Well,
would you then wish to ban mid and late term abortions because it would be murdering another human being?
Okay. You sound like you're being very accusatory and you don't know me, so let me explain something about myself. I am a mother of 3 children. 2 are adults, 20 and 18 years old, and 1 is 11. I actually had an abortion at 31 years old. So, with that said, my baby, the baby was 8 weeks gestation. So, with that said, there was no doubt in my mind that this was a baby. I really balk at the attitude that women are going around just murdering kids because they damn well feel like it. And that's how you're sounding right now.
Well, I don't
know. That's not my
reason. I realize this is a personal thing for you, and I do not know the reasoning behind you ending your pregnancy. I know it's wrong. Mm-hmm. I know it's tough for a lot of people. But there are alternatives to this. And let me add that many women, they do feel that this is their only opportunity. They do look at it as, because it is marketed to them as birth control. And they
it's not marketed as birth control. Never has it been marketed as birth control.
Well, when you walk into a clinic in New York City and then you realize that more black babies are aborted in 2013 than are born, are you telling me that that's not mass genocide?
That's not something that the company is doing. That's a decision that the woman makes. That's not, I don't understand. So you were saying that these companies are actually seeking us out, and I'm a black woman myself. So you're saying that these companies are, well, let's just put it this way. I had an abortion. I didn't go through Planned Parenthood. Nobody sought me out. I went looking for a place for this to happen because of my situation. So with that said,
and how did you find out about the place that you finally went to?
I'm sorry?
How did you find out about the place that you finally went to?
Me and my ex-husband actually did research.
Okay, now
they didn't come looking for me. No one knocked on our door and said, hey, we are here for you to have this abortion.
Look, how do you think that research gets out there? Now, I'm going to be very blunt with this because I happen to be in this field. And you think that they're not searching you out. It's called marketing and advertising.
How could they be searching me out when they don't know my situation?
It doesn't matter. The whole point is advertising and marketing.
I wasn't. We didn't go through an advertising. You don't understand. It's like
on a daily basis.
Going to a hospital. You want to actually research the hospital you're going to, right?
Hospitals advertise now. They're marketing. Everybody does. Planned Parenthood gets nearly over $500 million tax dollars every year just to do just that, to promote.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole notion that they're not out there actively seeking you is false.
They're not.
They're advertising
I actually experienced when I lived in New York, when we were stationed in New York, I actually experienced on a day off, a nice summer day off, having my kids walking down the street and seeing pro-life advocates holding jars of dead fetus and pictures of dead fetuses, screaming at people they didn't even know. So that was more of an advertisement to me that whatever decision you make in life is going to be judged by other people, and it sounds like you're that person.
Well, you know what? When it comes to murdering another human being, you damn well better believe I'm going to be judgmental, just like another jury member. Because we're doing it every day in a jury. We're deciding whether or not a person who deserves capital punishment or does not deserve capital punishment. And yet the first people that stand up and say, well, we should save this person's life are a bunch of liberals who, on the other hand, when they're outside that courtroom, they're saying, okay, because, just get rid of the baby. And if you think that they're not marketing to you simply because they're not in your face like somebody who's in your face about being against abortion, then you do not understand what marketing and advertising is. I'm in that field and I know exactly what it is. And I can tell you, just like Levi's, you're being marketed to on a daily basis.
Okay.
You just do not realize it.
I'm way older. I'm not a teenager. I've been here a long time. So I don't have to be marketed to or forced to or enticed to have an abortion because it's not a cool thing. How do you buy the products and services
that you buy? Do you think you're ever influenced by a commercial or an advertising spot or a marketing spot? You're never influenced by that stuff and what you buy.
So we're talking about how it influences the black community and how more black babies are aborted.
I'm saying earlier. In total. I'm just saying that I'm saying that where they are located, they have Margaret Sanger has done such a wonderful job of controlling the black population. And I know some people think I'm crazy about this, but read her own words and listen to what she said, and you will understand
I've read everything that Margaret Sanger has ever put out before she passed away.
She's an Aryan superior racist.
And that has what to do with the decisions of other women to have an abortion today. There are plenty of white women having abortions also.
Yes,
there are plenty of Latino women having abortions also, and they are never brought up.
Oh, well, Latino women, that's a different story. You're not finding white women in cities or in suburbs who are aborting more babies than are being born like you are in some black urban areas. Our population, we have more black babies being aborted than are murdered on an annual basis. But everybody wants to jump up and down and talk about white on black crime and black on black crime. But let me tell you something. The biggest crime is in Planned Parenthood and other abortion clinics that are aborting more babies that are being born that outnumber the number of blacks being murdered every single year. So our numbers are falling in this country.
I happen to actually live in Chicago, Illinois. So on the south side of Chicago, where a lot of that is going on.
I got family in Chicago. I've lived in Buffalo. I've even been in Detroit a lot of times. So these people always telling me, yes, I'm a black guy too. So people always tell me, well, you don't know what it's like. BS. I went to public school number 31 in Buffalo, New York. I know exactly what it's like in the hood. But I know what it's like.
Okay, great. That's not what I was going to say. This is not a pitching contest for me. So I'm going to tell you this much. Growing up where I grew up, which was actually not far away from here, right where I am right now, I have actually seen gang violence and black on black crime, and girls having had been pregnant or getting abortions or having to make those decisions and things of that nature. And what I see as a grown up now, and in the discussions that I have with other people, is the fact that there are people who hate the fact that those who are black and can't afford to have a child, or they're not good mothers, they're on drugs, and they feel like they need to have an abortion in order not to bring the child into a world like that. Those same people, if that drug addict mother decided to have a child, they'd be the topic of conversation in a lot of these discussions between Republicans and liberals, where Republicans are saying, we don't want to take care of your welfare kid, and you're a welfare queen, and your child is taking money out of our pockets and things of that nature. So I find it is very.
So the alternative then, in your mind, is to kill the child. That has nothing to do with it.
The alternative, in my mind, is to prevent it from the beginning.
No, yes,
that's what I'm
close
saying.
Your legs. That would be
prevent
the motto.
It at all costs.
Yes, that would be the motto. Close your legs. And I just at the beginning of the show, I just talked about how teen.
I wouldn't have known that because I wasn't.
Well,
in.
There was a report that said that teen sexual activity is down from 2013, especially among boys. So that number is going down. As far as teen pregnancy and teens having premarital sex in their teen years, but the other alternative is when that you get pregnant is you don't murder your child, you put it up for adoption. There are a lot of people out there that are going overseas to adopt babies. So I guess if people start having
people
babies
in this
here,
country, we have a lot of people in this country who are very picky. And if you have a child that is born,
look at Angelina Jolie. She goes to Africa almost every other year to get a new black model. Come on now, I got to take a break.
She only has one black child. Stop.
We'll be right back. Got to take a break.
Wow. these assholes